Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How in the world are you? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, rocking out another episode that is the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Now coming at you live from the Prototype Studio in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, our new home. The new home that is, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We took a look at the papers. We signed the paperwork, and yeah, we got the keys, and we're in, baby. We are in. It is wonderful to be here. It's great to be here, record an episode, and to be here with you guys, to make noise, and to do whatever we want to do, because that's just how it is here. You know what I mean? And it's really incredible. Hector is actually here, but he's actually over on the other side of the Prototype Studio. He's checking out some stuff and so forth. Checking out some, IT technological stuff. So my man is around. He's just not here, but he's around. So, obviously, big ups to him, and, much love and respect to him. And the fact that we're here, it's incredible. Shout out to Bob, who is actually one of the workers and the proprietors here over at the Prototype Studio. Big ups to him. We love, we love Bob. We think he's incredible. He's awesome. And yeah, it is absolutely incredible. It is cool. It is awesome. And yeah, it's really, really great that, he's just, supporting us like everybody else out there that is supporting us and supporting the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We cannot thank you guys enough for everything. For the fact that you guys invest your time in us. You actually, like and subscribe to our podcast on all the podcasting platforms, sharing our podcast out there to all your friends, whether if it's on social media or if it's on, if it's like in person, if you're actually talking to somebody in person and you're just kind of giving out the details and saying, yo, man, this is the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. You should check the dude out because he's really good and he's awesome. I can't thank you enough for that. I think that's really, really awesome of you guys for just spreading the love, man. Just spreading the love and spreading the wealth. I mean, if it wasn't, again, if it isn't for, wasn't for you guys, this type of situation would never happen. It would never have occurred. And the fact that it is really incredible. I'm all about it, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful, and, I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for that. You know what I mean? It's incredible. And, right now we are in the booth. I'm in my chair. I'm with my microphone, the MV7 from Shure, which is, again, one of the best microphones in the business when it comes to, podcast recording, or for anybody that's that does music recording, or if anybody that does voiceover work. Again, I say it like a broken record, this is the microphone. You know what I mean? This is the microphone for you, and this is the microphone that I feel like you buy it that one time, and that's all you need. You know what I mean? It's incredible. It's awesome. I love this microphone. I love everything about it. I think it's incredible, and I hope that I'm able to do more content. You know what I mean? With this microphone, because it's like 4 years old and it's still, going strong. So that's got to tell you something. That's really got to tell you something. And I am just, really amazed at the quality of this microphone. Everything that it does, it's on point and it's spot on and it's beautiful. So there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get this this party started. I'm going to go ahead and get this episode crack-a-lackin' because there's a lot that I do need to talk about today. Two things that I'm very passionate about. One of it is in the form of acting, and then the other one, we're going to talk a little bit about music and what's going on in that area. I'm pretty excited about that. And then, of course, what episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience doesn't include a Q&A question and answer form. It's going to be a good one. So, without any further ado, I'm going to get started. Recently, I actually reached out to a lot of people, and I actually had mentioned it. But, you guys over with the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience audience may not know about this. So I'm going to go ahead and, announce it that recently I've been toying with the idea of actually writing a movie script. I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's definitely in the works as we speak. Right now, I'm just in the general phases of it, where I'm actually taking, a pen, and I'm taking a pad, like a notebook pad, and I'm just kind of jotting down ideas and so forth. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, wow, Kim, you're a podcaster, so that's awesome. You're also a local film actor, but you writing a script, really? Well, I mean, being that acting and is my love, and I love the art of theater and so forth, and everything that goes around it, including writing a script for a movie. I figured, why not? You know what I mean? I think everyone and anyone can write a script as long as you have a good idea and a good storyline, a good plot. Why not, right? I think that if you really have it in you to go ahead and write a script, go for it. The worst thing that could happen is that you write the script and maybe it didn't come out as well as you thought, and then you don't have to release it. But I have to really explain a little bit about what happened. I don't know what happened, when it specifically happened, but it happened where the creativity bug just basically slapped me in the face and said, "Dude, you got to go ahead and write a script for a movie." Why not you? Everybody out there is doing it, right? So you should do one too. You have the potential. I mean, you have great imagination. You have great understanding. You watched a lot of movies. You kind of know what works and what doesn't. And you've seen good acting, and you've seen acting that is just, okay. And I just thought about it. And, the one thing I wanted to do, and I always wanted to do, was I wanted to write a script. And I wanted it to revolve around the martial arts. The thing about it is that I don't want this script, this martial arts film, to be like the classic, hey, this is the good guy versus the bad guy type of thing. I also don't want it to be where there's going to be a lot of fight scenes to the death and someone dies. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make I wanted to make a script so that this would be a particular future film project about somebody involved in the martial arts, and he's actually teaching the next generation of martial artists, basically inheriting a martial arts program where there's a lot of, like, for a lack of a better term, a lot of misfits and students that look like they don't really have a chance in martial arts, in learning in martial arts, and that they're coming from, different types of troubled backgrounds and different type of, age ranges between, the children, adolescents to the adults and so forth. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes along here. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? If I could make that happen, I think it would be incredible. And I will say that writing a script definitely has its challenges, and I'm realizing it. There's a lot that goes on there. You just don't go ahead and write something and say that's it and that's done. Like you write a story that's about 10 pages long and so forth. There's a lot more to it than just that, especially like if it's a full-length film. Yeah, there's a lot that goes along with that for sure. And I just thought to myself, man, I think that I have something. Like, I really feel like I have something that is really worth going for. The problem is that I know there's going to be a lot of things involved in this. You have to find a right production company that will be able to film this. You have to find the right director. Then you have to find the right kind of crew members to help you out with this film. Then you got to go ahead and look for like what you think the best actors could be. I already have in mind about a couple of people who I would cast in this thing and so forth. Some people may already know and be like, wow, that's incredible and that's a good choice. Some people may not have heard before and they'll be like, what, are you serious? And I would say, why not? Because I think, in my opinion, when it comes to acting and acting in major motion picture films, or at least local ones, I feel like the ones with the no names that just has that, great work ethic and hard-working spirit is incredible. I would say, for the record right now, that if I was to cast this, I don't want people that are, full of themselves or stuck up or think they're God's gift to the world, or like, if somebody like an extra would talk to them, they would just go ahead and disrespect them and say, oh, you're not worth my time. I'm above you. No, I don't want that. I want people that I know that I connect with, that I know that I have great energy with, and when we get on the set, we're going to have a good time. And then we're done, for the day. When we're wrapped, we're going to have a good time outside of the set, and we're going to share a few laughs, and it's going to be incredible. You know what I mean? I feel like that is important to me. And, hopefully, I think that this could be possible, and I'm hoping it's possible. But I got to go ahead and write a script first. And, I will say that I have been spending my time thinking about it, thinking about what I want to do, the type of characters I want to involve in this project and so forth. It's incredible. And I think that as soon as I get this thing going, it'll be an amazing thing for sure. I don't know, how involved it's going to be or how I'm going to get there. But I'm going to get there. And I think it's incredible, and I think that it's definitely going to be worth the ride. It's definitely going to be worth the ride. And once I actually get this script going and it's, written very well to the T, then I know that I have something that has a lot of potential. I confided in a good friend of mine in the acting industry, and I told her about it. And she was in. She was like, dude, I'm pulling for you. Like, I'm rooting for you. This is incredible. And I think that, you have something here, which is great, which is absolutely great. You have to keep going with this, and you have to keep, taking this all the way out to the top, because, this thing could have great potential, but what you do with it is key. And she's right. She's right. I'm not going to say that she's wrong. I do have to get I really do have to get cracking. I really have to get the whip and just go, and get to work. Really get to work. And I don't know how long this script is going to take. But it's going to take as long as it takes. I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to make it happen. And I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm want to make it happen. And I want to make people proud. I want to make all the martial artists out there in the community proud, because they can look at this thing and say, this is not a stereotypical martial arts film. You did it right, and it's awesome. And I'll say gladly, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's great, and God bless you for, showing me that love and support. Yes, amazing. And we'll see what happens. I know it's going to be more than just 10 pages. I know it's going to be something that, I'm going to really be working on. I already, I know that it's going to be a lot of hours typing it on Microsoft Word, on my Microsoft Office, because I have the full edition, not the 365. I have the full length edition, the full volume of it. And there will be some days and days and days that I'm just going to be on that, that laptop and go, just typing away. Because, one thing about a creator is that they have a lot of ideas, man. They have a lot of stuff going on, and they are going to go ahead from point A to point B all the way to point Z, 0 to 60, whatever, they're going to do it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm really, really excited. I already know that I probably put in a little bit too much. And I know there's probably going to be some people that either A, they're going to support the idea and they love it, or B, they're going to shoot it down completely and say, you're insane and, you don't deserve to do this, and we hope that your project fails. By that, I'm just going to say thank you, because I feel like, the negativity is kind of like, my motivation, my fuel to succeed, because I want to prove to myself, most importantly, that I can do this. And I just also want to prove to the people out there that, I have that potential to do something really great. And I think it'll be incredible. I think it'll be wonderful. I think it's something that people will look at it and they'll be like, holy crap. We did not think that this was going to be like that. And the fact that it is, it's absolutely incredible, stunning, great job, awesome, you did it. And yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing, man. That's what I'm planning on doing. And whether people are with me or they're not, I feel like at this point it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and it's going to make me feel good, and I can't wait. And I hope that, in the end, the people will stand with me on this one. That's all. But yeah, I'm just going to end it there for now. I will say, if there's anybody out there that has written a script that's listening to this, or anybody that's written anything in general, and you want to give me like some suggestions, please feel free to email me and drop a line or something like that. I definitely would like to hear your input and how you approach it and where to go from here. But I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, because I just want to end it on a good note and then keep that momentum going into the next segment, because the next segment is going to be awesome. So guys, just do what you have to do. Take a break, do whatever you need to do, like drink water, go to the restroom, answer a couple of texts or whatever, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience will be coming back in full force, and I can't wait. Stay tuned, guys. I want to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We are back at it again for round 2, and it's an awesome, awesome day, and it's awesome to be here and recording and being here with you guys. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible, and the fact that I'm here with you guys and just having a good time, it makes it worth all my while. It's that amazing, you know what I mean? So, I mean, hey, you know, if you can see it, the smile is incredible, and you can see it because, you know, hey, you'll just have to imagine it, that it's actually starting from one ear to the other. It's that much of a smile, so it's really, really good. I actually did enjoy my break a little bit. I actually had a little bit of some coffee. It was decaf, and I know some people out there are going to be like, oh, boo, he had decaf coffee. It was, you know, decaf coffee is not bad. I think if you can if you can actually take your mind away from the fact that there is no caffeine in it, if you can get away from that already, you're pretty much, you know, in the good. So, yes, you know, I am drinking what true coffee connoisseurs would say, you're drinking sin. I'm just thinking more like, hey, I'm drinking something in you know, coffee that has no caffeine form, and I'm just drinking it just to drink it. It's like for people like, you know, that like beer, but they don't want to have, you know, the after effects of alcohol and have it, you know, being impairing when you consume it. That's why people, you know, consume non-alcoholic beer, because you have all the enjoyment of regular tasting beer, but none of the after effects, you know, none of the guilt. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, if it's not for you, that's cool. But for some of us, we enjoy that and we're okay with it. So it's, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boom, we are really ready to go. You know what I mean? Or if I can do it this way, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. There we go. How about that? So we're going to go into round two of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I'm excited, so let's get underway. By the time that you hear this or not, it's it's already happened. But I'm just going to go ahead and just say it, just for the sake of saying it, because obviously there's a lot that went on with this, and unless you've been you haven't been informed, or you were just, not there and so forth. The band that I grew up with, and about everybody that grew up with in my generation, Linkin Park, is back at it again. That's right. They have reunited, and they have and they're back at it again. And this time, they've actually enlisted a brand new vocalist in Emily Armstrong. Now, for those that don't know who Emily Armstrong is, she is a vocalist. She was previously in another band before Linkin Park. She was if I remember correctly, she was playing in a band called Dead Sarah. She was playing in a band called Dead Sarah that was initially known as Epiphany. And yeah, she's been doing her thing, and Linkin Park announced on the 5th of September that that Emily Armstrong had joined the Linkin Park band as co-lead vocalist. There was a lot of opinions, for a lack of a better term, can we say, that was expressed about this. Some good, some not so good. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, they're just like, dude, we are so excited about this. This is going to be so awesome, and it's going to be amazing because Linkin Park is going to be back, and they're going to be, they're going to be a band again. They're going to be out there. They're going to continue to make music. We can't wait because of the fact that, they have, a new vocalist now that, took the reins and is willing to try to fill the shoes of the late Chester Bennington, who was, the original OG lead singer of, Linkin Park. And it's going to be incredible. We're going to see what happens. I mean, it might be a new sound, a new, kind of way of Linkin Park. But, to us, the fans that are all for it, yeah, we're excited. It's going to be all that in a bag of chips. And it has been told, according to the Linkin Park website, that at least as of right now, they were going to be doing a 6-city tour, 2 in the United States and 4 internationally. September, as of right now, when we're recording it, September the 11th over at the Kia Forum in LA, California, Los Angeles. Then on the 16th of September, they're going to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Then they're going to travel over to Hamburg, Germany, over at the play over the Barclays Center. The Barclay Arena over there. The Barclays Center is in Brooklyn. The Barclay Arena is in Hamburg, Germany, on September the 22nd. September the 24th, the O2 Arena in London, England. Then September the 28th. Inspire Arena in Seoul, South Korea. And then ending it over on November the 11th in Coliseo Mid Plus in Bogota, Colombia. To me, I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is really cool, and I can't really wait to see what happens. I think it's going to be incredible, just for the fact that they're going to be doing it again. There are some that have really given a lot of flack about this situation. You know what I mean? And the reason behind that is because of the following. you're putting in a brand new vocalist in Emily Armstrong. You know what I mean? She's no Chester Bennington. So guess what? If it isn't Chester Bennington, we're not sold because he was Linkin Park. You know what I mean? Some people have thrown a lot of major shade because Emily's religious affiliation ties to the Church of Scientology, because according to what I'm reading online here in Wikipedia, that in 2013, Armstrong was photographed attending the 44th anniversary gala of the Church of Scientology's Celebrity Center International. And in a press release followed the event, the church identified her as one of the several prominent members. Shortly after Armstrong joined Linkin Park on September the 5th, she was the subject of media reports about her ties to the controversial church and her purported attendance in support of former actor and convicted rapist Danny Masterson, who we know is the actor from the hit TV series from Fox TV, That 70s Show, a lifetime Scientologist, at a criminal hearing that took place in 2020. Some of the band's fans were also critical of her affiliation. So, yeah, she's gotten a lot of flack and so forth on many different levels because they, in Scientology, they really disrespect and throw a lot of shade with a lot of people that suffer with mental health illnesses and challenges and so forth, whether if it's depression or anxiety or bipolar or whatever, which it was documented that Chester Bennington suffered a lot with mental health issues and mental health struggles, and that his beliefs were not of Scientology. So already a lot of people are just saying a lot of things, and they're saying because Emily's on board, it spits on the memory of Chester Bennington, and this is totally wrong, and it's not what it's supposed to be. This is not right. If you're going to carry on, don't even have the Linkin Park name. Make it a new band and do something else. You know what I mean? This is my 2 cents. I don't know anything about, the Scientology religion or so forth and whatnot. I really don't. I don't know about that. The fact that they may possibly disrespect and dismay mental health issues and so forth. I don't know anything about that. I don't know. It's just as much as I found out that she was in support of Danny Masterson at his sexual assault trial. I didn't know about that either. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be fair and I'm going to be objective, I'm only looking at, and I'm just only saying this, I'm only looking at, Emily Armstrong as the person, as the singer. You know what I mean? If we're judging her for her character and her life choices, you have the right to do so. But I think that it would be unfair of us because, we're just judging her by her character and not by her talent. And I think everybody knows that in the world of music, we're just, if you sound good and you can belt it out, then that's all that, matters. Yes, character does matter too, and, the personality that you are, and, how, much of a person that you can be under that platform to be like a person of, just being a good role model in that way. I do get that. But I'm going to be technical. I'm just going to the technical part of, her as a singer. Now, I did catch the new single, The Emptiness Machine. I checked it out on Spotify and on Apple Music, which, I was just like, flip-flopping. I don't know why, so don't even ask. I even saw the live performance of The Emptiness Machine that they did recently on YouTube. Now, I'm just going to say this. Just based on what I heard there, I thought Emily Armstrong was pretty good. She's pretty good, and she has her own style and her way of things. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, I feel like if Linkin Park themselves didn't think that she had the ability to do so, if they didn't think that she had the potential to do so, they would have never had selected her. They could have selected any other vocalist, but they chose her. I also want to say that, it was Linkin Park's choice not only to pick her, but to keep going on as a band. You know what I mean? I think we have a lot of theories, conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But I think what boiled down to it, if you asked me, I think they just missed being musicians and performing for their fans and just being, who they are creatively. And I think it's wrong of us for, us as the fans to put a stop to that. You know what I mean? I think it's wrong and ridiculous. I mean, we're just fans. We're not professional. We're not out there on the stage. We're not there selling out millions and millions of space out on major arenas all over the United States and all over the globe. We don't have that musical talent. Otherwise, we would have been out there where they are. You know what I mean? All we are fans, and to some, we're critics. I mean, you can go ahead and say all that you want, like, oh, I'm not a critic, blah, 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 blah. I'm just stating my opinion. Well, what do you think a critic is? A critic is somebody that's actually spitting out their opinion, whether if it's unsolicited or not, whether if other people want to hear it or not. We are critics. And I will say that, unless we don't give somebody a fair shot and a fair chance, I think that's a little bit unfair. I am a Linkin Park fan, and I will say that, I'm willing to be open-minded to it. And I think that hearing, what I heard from the ability of Emily Armstrong, I think that she has the potential. And I think that she has her own style and she could do it. Obviously, she's no Chester Bennington. And I'm not trying to say that she's better than Chester Bennington or will ever be Chester Bennington or Chester Bennington clone. But I can say that she will be able to do what she needs to do and make it her own. And I think that the band will be able to embrace it. And I think that the fans will be able to embrace it. For those that, the so-called fans that left because of Emily Armstrong and what they heard, hey, I mean, you have the right to do what you want to do. But I think in life, if we were given an opportunity, I think that we would probably deserve a fair shot. I really do. And I just hope for the sake of the band of Linkin Park that they will be able to succeed and they'll be able to knock it out of the park. And I hope for Emily Armstrong that, she will do the best that she can, that she will be successful, and she will silence the critics for the fact of all the negative press that she's getting, that she will silence that. Because it's just hurtful to, get all this negative flack and negative, energy and press when you don't have a fair shot. And that's all I'm going to say. I definitely do. I am the type of person that does believe in the, in the underdog, because the underdog should deserve their shot. At least that's my opinion. I think they deserve their shot. And we'll see what happens. Now, if Emily does become when she does become a member of the band and she does this tour and everything and so forth, and if it's a flop, that's all on her. That's all on her, because maybe she didn't deliver and she should have. But if she actually proves everybody wrong, silence the critics and really does her thing very well, musically to the T, then we're going to be facing another situation and sing another tune to the point where we're probably going to say, you know what, maybe we were too quick to jump the gun. And that was unfair of us. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got more on the way, because when we come back, we will have our Q&A forum. Yes, the question and answer forum. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is coming back. I guarantee it, guys. Stay tuned. In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Hey everybody, and we're back. Just like that song. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 All right, that's all of the Eminem that I got for you guys. I mean, I tried, but it's a lot of work for that. So, anyways, guys, we are here. We just created a great episode, and we had a good time being here with you and getting this episode out there to you guys, because, you know, you deserve it. You deserve it, and it's great, and it's wonderful. And I'm glad that we're able to, you know, facilitate great times, awesome work, and the fact that you guys get this all for free, because I know right now, if you actually had to pay for it, you'd probably be crying and you'd probably be beating me up. You know what I mean? So I don't know what more I can say other than that, but we're going to go ahead and get to it, guys. You know what time it is, but before we do, we just want to give you a friendly reminder that the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking for you guys, the audience, for help on a voluntary basis to anyone out there that would like to assist our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship or financially donating to our podcast show to help make the quality of our podcast better. Any proceeds or money that we earn and raise will go to get awesome and better equipment. More equipment, the better the equipment, the better. And such equipment that we need, like more microphones for our in-studio guests, the XLR cables that are required for those microphones, extra headphones for our in-studio guests. We're also thinking about raising money for getting a new computer, like a MacBook Pro, so that we can actually record with the up-to-date programming that we need to help make our podcast episodes that much crisper, cleaner, and just the way that you know it. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. You can donate whenever you want and how frequently you want. You know what I mean? So if you want to donate like every week, you can. Every 2 weeks, you can. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can. It's cool. It's whatever. And in terms of how much you donate, it's pretty much up to you. Now, here's the inside joke. If you want to donate like $5 million, that would be great and amazing, and we would definitely be taken care of, but I doubt anybody would do that, but you never know. And you can just donate even as minimal as like $5. Either way, every little bit helps, and we would greatly appreciate your assistance. You can make a donation through our PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. If you want to do it through PayPal and Venmo, just go ahead and donate it under our screen name at KimHoangMDActor. That's KimHoangMDActor, or on Cash App, which is the $ KimHoangMDActor. Once again, that's the $ KimHoangMDActor. You know what I mean? So that would be amazing. And now, dun 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 dun, the main event of the evening, if you will, where we're going to go to the Q&A forum, the world famous Q&A forum. That's right, your questions and answers. You ask those questions, and I'm going to answer it. And we got 7 good ones. I'm ready and excited, and I can't wait. So without any further delay, we're just going to go ahead and do the darn thing with question number 1. Question number 1 states, Kim, you've been podcasting for about 4 years now. Have you noticed the differences from when you started back in the day until now, at the very present moment? How do you feel going forward with the podcast show in the future years to come? Jake from Modesto, California. Jake, wow, a 2 for 1. I will definitely go for it. I definitely noticed the differences for sure. When I first started, I was very green and I didn't even know what in the world was going on. Obviously, I thought that if you just bought a regular microphone from Amazon Prime, it would have been good. If I recorded it from my MacBook Pro, it would have been good. If I did this and that and everything, it would have been good. And although it was a very, very waking experience, learning things I didn't know and finding out the hard way by, unfortunate failures, in the end, it just kind of evolved in, better knowledge and understanding. And, it helped me to kind of figure out a better formula of how to actually do recordings and how to do editings and how to post it out there. So yes, I definitely feel there's a difference starting from back then in the beginning until this very moment, and I feel good about it. And I feel like going forward with the podcast show for the years to come in the future, I think the potential's there, and I think it's bright. The future's bright, but we will see. You know what I mean? We're going to take it one step at a time, and we're just going to hope for the best. We're not trying to, be arrogant. We just want to be grateful for the fact that after 4 years and still to this day, we're still going at it and we're going on strong, and we won't stop. So there you go. Question number 2. Kim, I am thinking of selling my stuff on Facebook Supermarket to make some extra money. Does it work, and do you have any advice? Marvin from Miles City, Montana. Marvin, I have sold my stuff on Facebook Supermarket, believe it or not. And it does work. It really does. the best piece of advice I would have to say is whatever it is that you're selling, make sure that you give specific detail. You know, if there's something missing, specify there's something missing. If there's some dents on the thing, specify it. Take good pictures, you know what I mean? Make sure it's accurate. Send it out there. And whatever price that you set on, stick with it. You know, if you want to sell something for $30, sell it for $30. Unless you really feel like you need to go down, like, you know, from 30 to 25, that's fine unless you make that decision willingly. But if somebody's trying to lowball you, don't settle for anything less. Try to stick with the offer that you put out on the table. So if you actually said, I am going to sell this, you know, let's say, for example, I'm going to sell this frying pan for $30, and they're trying to cheap you off and actually try to lowball you for $15. Don't go for that. Know the worth. Know the worth. Question number 3. Kim, what are your opinions of martial artists quitting after earning their first degree black belt or first degree black belt equivalent? Dennis from Sweetwater, Texas. Well, Dennis, well there, cowboy, I got to tell you something, man. It's good that martial artists, you know, at least go and earn a first degree black belt, because in that sense, it's like you finish what you started. But, you know, after that, when they quit, is a little bit concerning. Now, I understand that if you stopped because, you know, maybe you have an injury that's ongoing that will, at that point, prevent you from ever training again because it's that serious. Well, in that case, you know, you got to think for your longevity, and I understand that. But if you're still willing and able, if you're still healthy, if you can still breathe and walk around, in my opinion, you should keep going, because the martial arts, you know, doesn't stop at just the first degree black belt when you first earned it. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it. There's so much knowledge to absorb, so many things to learn. And at that point, it's like you should be able to be in a situation where you want to give back to, you know, the students that are below you, like, you know, the black belt instructors gave to you when you were like that colored belt, like that green belt or that blue belt or whatever. You know what I mean? So I definitely would say to them, keep on going, man. Keep training. Why stop at first degree black belt when you can go all the way and that you're physically able and capable of doing so? It's just my thought. Question number 4. Kim, what is the one thing that you can't live without when it comes to your podcasting recording? Thomas from Chicago, Illinois. Thomas, I got family in Chi-Town, bro. And if I'm ever in Chi-Town, I'm going to look you up. I got to thank you for that. You know, I got to thank you for that love and support. The one thing that I cannot live without, and I'm going to be throwing you something really random, and it might surprise you, but I can't live without my Zoom PodTrack P4 podcasting recording device. You know what I mean? The vocal recording device. Because I figure like this, I can live without the microphone because I feel like I can always find another one. And I can always live without the XLR cable that connects to the mic to my Zoom podcast or PodTrack P4. I can live without that. You know, I can live without the batteries that power up this Zoom PodTrack P4 because batteries are easily replaceable. But I can't live without the Zoom PodTrack P4, you know, which is a podcasting recording device. It is essential to me. It's like the nucleus of everything that I do. And it does help out tremendously, especially the fact that with this Zoom PodTrack P4 recording device that I have, inside of it, I have a micro, I think it's like a micro memory card, to say the very least, like a micro SD memory card. And it has 1 terabyte. So imagine how much information a terabyte holds. That's a lot. and I'm going to be needing that. I mean, besides the main, component, which is the Zoom PodTrack P4. I can't live without it. Never, never, never. Question number 5. Kim, who do you think is or was the best pound-for-pound pro wrestler in the pro wrestling industry? Andrea from Cincinnati, Ohio. Andrea, that's a very good question. As you know, I love pro wrestling. I follow it religiously. Everything from the WWE to AEW to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know much about the other organizations like Ring of Honor. I don't follow it that much, or I'm not very familiar with their organization. So I'm kind of at a little standstill, you know what I mean? Or the other like local organizations or the other organizations I can't even think of right now. So if I can't think of it, about it, I'm really sorry. I don't have anything. But the best pound-for-pound pro wrestler, in my opinion, I thought was the late Eddie Guerrero. You know what I mean? He was able to wrestle with the cruiserweights, the lightweights, and even with the heavyweights. He had a heck of a career. Won the WWE Heavyweight Championship against Brock Lesnar, of all people. So that kind of tells you already, how very versatile he is, because he knows, amateur wrestling, scientific wrestling. He was a high flyer. If he needed to brawl, he could brawl with the best of them. And he was really, really good. The only thing about Eddie Guerrero, unfortunately, was that he was taken too soon, in my opinion. I feel like, he was literally in his prime, and it got taken away from him, and I think that's really upsetting. I think it's unfortunate. So that's what's going to happen. So, yep. That's my 2 cents. Question number 6. Kim, if you were a fruit, then what fruit would you be? Alicia from Elkins, West Virginia. All right there, West Virginia. If I was a fruit in, the fruit family of the food pyramid, I probably think of myself more of a pineapple, because, it's really, it has a rough exterior, but once you cut the layers and you get into the real fruit of it, it's really tasty. It's like, bittersweet, where it's like, there is a little, I don't want to say sour, but it's a little bitter, but it's sweet at the same time. And I love pineapples. I think pineapples are an incredible fruit, a great source of vitamin C, and I've yet to meet one person, at least in my lifetime, that doesn't like pineapples as a fruit. I'm not talking about using it as a topping on a pizza. That's a different subject. But to eat it as a fruit and to like it, I've met a lot of people that are all for it. So there you go. All right. Last but not least, question number 7. Dun, 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 dun. Can I get a drum roll for the one time, even if it's a crazy one? Thank you. All right. Kim, what do you look for in a woman? Nancy from Fairfax, Virginia. Yo, 703 in the hizzy. What is up? Yeah. Nancy, I look for the following. I do like to have a woman that is in good health. Like, she's in tune with her body, because I feel like if she's in good shape, she might motivate me to be, in shape with her, and I could, kind of use her influence. I look for a woman that's very intelligent, that can hold a conversation very well. And I look for a woman that's just, very open-minded and non-judgmental. There are some women out there, I'm not saying every woman in the world, but there's some women out there that are very judgmental, especially when it comes to, the type of person that they want to go out with. And I feel like that's kind of wrong, you know what I mean? We're all here to hang out, and we're all here to look for some kind of companionship. even on a more permanent basis. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good thing. We all want that. We all want the best for that. However, I can only work with what I have. If the woman out there is not judgmental, that's awesome. If she can hold down a conversation and is very intelligent and she's, very open-minded and she can share a laugh, I'm down with that. If she is somebody that's also, once again, in shape, very in tuned, and, is physically fit, that's a winning recipe for me. Now, I'm not trying to be shallow or anything, but I just feel like if you're in shape, if you work out, if you lift the weights, do CrossFit, if you do a lot of jogging, you know what I mean? I need to be around that type of person so that they can motivate me to be at my best. You know what I mean? Because I'm not in the greatest of health, but if I had if I had a partner and a beautiful woman like that, that's also intelligent, she might motivate me and tell me to get off my duff and jog around the block with her or something. And I could really use that, and that I feel like that's important. That's really, really important. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Q&A forum. Dun, 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 dun. I felt like we really attacked it very well. I felt like, even though it was 7 questions, I felt like it was a little bit short. But to be fair, I did answer all 7 questions. So, there it is. To Jake, to Marvin, to Dennis, to Thomas, to Andrea, to Alicia, to Nancy. Thank you guys. You took time out of your busy schedule to send me these questions via email or via on Twitter, now known as X. But the most important thing that I will give you credit on, and I give you much love and respect for, is the fact that you didn't give me any questions that required me to answer about politics or religion, because I don't want to do that. Because you skipped those type of questions, it made it a lot more easier for me. So thank you. You know what I mean? So in the future, if you want to send a question to Q&A to the Q&A form, I don't mind. But please, again, do not send any questions that deals with religion and or politics. It is a bad recipe for disaster. We don't want it. You don't want it. And from the sounds of things outside, it sounds like the afternoon train has arrived, folks. It is what it is. That being said, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'm excited. Thank you very much. You can find us on Facebook. Just go under the search box and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Once you actually hit enter and it's on the search, you'll find us. Follow us and, just catch up with what we're doing. Drop some comments, ask some stuff, and we'll do our best. We are on a lot of social media platforms, such as Instagram and on Twitter, now known as X. Follow us under our handle at TKHPC Experience. That's all in one word, all lowercase letters, no spacing. If you follow us, we'll follow you back. You know what I mean? Simple as that. We are on a lot of podcasting platforms. You know what I'm saying? So here we go in no particular order. Guys, please like and subscribe to our podcast on these podcasting platforms, such as we have Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and the podcasting platform that is also an audiobook platform called Audible, which is powered by Amazon. And if you want to, go to audible.com and you can sign up for a trial membership, a 1-week trial membership, absolutely free. And after that week, if you actually like it, you can become a member and you will actually pay $15 a month for this service. So, do me a favor. like this podcast, subscribe to it on all the platforms. And if you have Spotify and Apple Podcasts, please give us a good rating. Go to Spotify and give us a 5-star review. And if you have Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and a positive written review. Because the more times that we actually get that, then the podcast actually gets thrown to the front of the line and it'll be noticed quicker. And then somebody could be like, hey, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. That's what George was talking about. Yes. That's what he was talking about. Like it and subscribe to it. You know what I mean? And while you're at it, share this podcast with all your friends on all of your social media, like Facebook, like, Twitter, now known as X, like Instagram, like TikTok, like Snapchat. Let people be known about this, or tell your friends in person, tell your work colleagues in person, or your family members in person. Let them know, because sharing is caring, right? We care about that. Last but not least, if you have to be like, all right, if you are a person that wants to be a guest on our show, or if you want to be a special guest host, if you have any constructive criticisms, or if you want to submit a question to our Q&A forum, email us at thekimhoangpodcastexperience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, put it under the subject box, and after you put the subject in, write down whatever you have to do in the body part of the email. Send it out. I'll get it, and within maybe a day or two, I will write you a response, and we'll go from there. I like to actually do my communication this way, because that way I know that you guys are genuine by emailing me, and it'll show that I'm genuine to you by responding back to your email. But that's it, man. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. I want you guys to be safe and happy. You know what I mean? I want you to do good things, because it doesn't do us any good if you actually put yourself in trouble and you end up getting buried in a pine box 6 feet under. We don't want you to have that, because we want you to be healthy and happy. We want you to love life. We want you to know that negativity and bad energy is bad for you, and you can actually throw it away on the wayside, because you deserve it. And if you deserve it, then the whole world deserves it. So if they get it, why can't you? That's all I'm saying. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's all I got. It's been great being here, recording, having fun, talking about certain things that are in my wheelhouse, answering some questions for the Q&A forum, and the fun don't stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep having fun, and it's going to be amazing. And I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for helping us to be a very good podcast, for getting all the support that we're getting from you guys. It's incredible. And I wouldn't ask anything else, and I wouldn't do it any other way. So, for the one time, here in the Prototype Studios in Wheaton, Maryland, which is located not far from the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. This is your boy, the Asian sensation himself, Mr. Kim Hoang. You know I'm the voice, and you know I'm the choice. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We love you. God bless you. And we'll do it again real soon here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Y'all have a good one now. Peace.